Maybe I'll even think ahead and actually record. Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast.
Wouldn't that be something?
And then we can just start right away rather than,
Yeah.
keep doing all this nonsense. But anyway, so welcome. I am Nicholas. I'm joined by part owner of the Packers, Justin.
Want to know, baby?
And I'm joined by desperately upset that he's missing Masked Singer, Jeremy.
Yeah, what the hell? I need to know.
All right. Well,
What is
today
that? I
we
heard their 10th season of that show.
and but I assume that means they're running like 2 or 3 seasons a year now.
Like,
Because
like the first season and two, I was kind of interested in it, and now I'm just like, go away.
I feel that about most reality shows, but whatever.
They jumped the shark when Kermit the Frog was underneath one of those.
Wait, what?
Didn't that
Yeah,
happen?
it did.
They lifted it up.
It was like a snail in a top hat or something. It was Kermit the Frog.
So they had a puppet inside of a puppet?
Yeah, puppet
That's
inside a
weird.
costume, and the guy was singing in it. I don't even know if he was singing in a Kermit the Frog voice.
Who would have ever guessed that?
Yeah,
I mean, isn't that some sort of like singularity event where like, like the universe collapses, like,
Right.
putting a puppet inside of a puppet?
We were
I
never
don't
meant
know.
to do that.
Was it a puppet in a puppet, or it's a puppet in a costume?
Oh,
I don't know if it's you consider it another puppet. You're
I
just in a
don't know.
costume.
I have never watched any of the Masked Singer. I think correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, but I think Justin's the only one that's ever watched an episode, let alone
that's
Two,
accurate.
two
okay.
seasons.
Two. Yeah, okay.
I was like,
I,
this is intriguing, and now I'm just like, this is dumb.
yeah. But obviously we're in much better moods. I mean, the football season is kicked off, so that's
Hmm.
great.
About
Um
time. Real football, not preseason.
and it's really nice. I've seen the University of Memphis go 2-0, which is good. The Packers lost. I mean, the Packers won, so that's really good. Badgers, I don't know what happened yesterday, but they didn't get off to a great start. But
And they pulled an Amanda Heard.
oh,
Jeez.
They
Wow.
shit the bed.
Amber Heard, by the way,
That's sure.
Close enough.
Whatever.
just so we don't just to stop the angry emails and letters that will
They go
come
to you,
pouring in.
not me.
I know, but still, just I don't. I know there's tons and scores of letters and comments that we get. I just want to
Yeah.
put a stop to that before we. But I feel like this week we should get in and really honor the state of Wisconsin. I've kind of become an adopted member of Wisconsin. I've lived here now better part of 18 years because I moved here in '05. So I mean, I know there was a little couple years in there that I moved out to California for a little while, back out to Virginia, but I mean, I guess I permanently moved here in '08. But I was here for like 2.5 years in '05, left for almost a year, came back. So you guys have both born and raised here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm guessing born and raised, like not, you don't live too far away from where you were born at this point for either of you either, right?
Not too far.
Close enough.
And it's only been,
It's within like 45 minutes.
and it's really only been since we've started the podcast that Justin's even left the state. Now, granted, most of that was in version one of the podcast.
Hmm.
Was it? Yeah, it'd have to be.
Yeah.
Uh,
You had already gone to like Ohio and stuff by the end of it.
because I
Yeah.
think
Our
I think
first
you
season.
went I think you went to Hawaii in version one.
I might have went to DC. I went to
Yeah.
DC first.
Yeah, and you went to DC. So like But you don't really travel out of the state very often. I know, Jeremy, you go to Illinois quite often, but I don't know if you travel out of the state as
I've been
often.
places.
Yeah, I say I feel like
He's
you've
been
done more.
everywhere in this your land.
I know you've done more. I know you've done more traveling than Justin has, but but you guys,
Maybe not at this point.
well, okay.
How many
And
states have you been to? Let's like break it down right now and
Oh
halt
God.
everything.
okay, all right.
All right,
Are we
Nicholas,
starting?
are you
I mean,
counting?
okay, I'm supposed to count. All right, because I'm at 46.
Oh wow.
No,
Yeah.
40. No, 40. Yeah, 46. I got four more to go. All right. Anyway.
All right,
All right. So,
Wisconsin.
Are we counting states we've driven through?
I mean, have you stopped in that state to do anything?
Like to take a piss
I would.
or see like a Walmart.
I mean, like I
You
always
know what?
try to count.
I'll count them. You stopped in there.
I
Okay.
try to count states that I've stopped in and had like a meal or a snack. I've done more
Or-
than just like
or a leak.
driven through it. Like, I've actually spent a couple of minutes there anyway.
Okay. I won't count some then.
Well,
But I
I
stayed
mean-
overnight in Ohio, so I'll count that still.
okay. All right. So, all right, we're starting with Jeremy then. Ohio.
Ohio, Illinois, Florida, California, Vegas. I mean Nevada. South Carolina, Connecticut, and then the rest were kind of just like states that I've passed through. And I think that's it, actually. I'm sure there's been more. Jersey, Virginia. That's it.
All right. So we're at
wasn't
9.
counting that.
We're at
Okay.
9.
Did you
Okay.
count as Wisconsin too?
Okay, 10. I forgot
All
to
right.
count Wisconsin. All right.
Or count Wisconsin? All right,
Yeah, I mean, I
got,
guess I should count Wisconsin since you.
yeah. All right, I've got Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio. I just barely drove through Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Tennessee, Texas, Hawaii, and I briefly passed through Kentucky. The only thing I did there was take a leak.
I gotta add 5 more.
Okay. All right, so we were at 10. So you're at 15. Justin, you're at 13. So both
So
of you are
Iowa,
okay. All right, so 14.
and I think that might be it.
I forgot Kentucky, Tennessee, Minnesota, and Michigan. And
And something else.
why did I have a 5? I don't remember why.
So we might be at 14 apiece.
Okay, 14. Give me 4.
Okay,
four
four.
more.
I still have
Can I
Alaska.
Can I count DC?
DC's not a state. It's a territory.
Should be.
No, it shouldn't be. And there's a whole political reason for that. We're not a political show, so moving on.
We could be.
No thanks.
No, thank you. All right, so I've not been to Alaska, Hawaii, Washington, and Oregon. Those are the only 4. I've done everything else.
We should do a live pop culture roulette in Alaska.
That would be fun.
All right.
So let's talk
Let's-
about Wisconsin and the history of Wisconsin on TV.
All
So
right.
we're gonna start with fictional towns in Wisconsin because heaven forbid TV bother to actually put real towns. We're gonna start.
That's because they can't pronounce them.
Well, I've lived here for long enough. I still can't pronounce half of them. All right, so I'm gonna say the number of episodes and the amount of seasons, the name, what kind of show it is, when it ran, and then the name of the town, and then we'll probably move on. Most of these are going to be real fast. Yes.
I'd say, can we turn this into a game where we can guess the show? Maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, we can try
We
to.
like games.
We do
We
like games.
Okay. So I won't name the show. I'll give you all the relevant information, and then you can try to.
Yeah.
I'm
Quickly try to guess the show.
quickly try to guess the show. All right. We're going to start animated.
Okay.
It ran for 40 episodes, 4 seasons, from '02 to '08. It was in the town of Plainsville, Wisconsin. It was on Nickelodeon.
Ooh, Jeremy, you should get this.
Oh,
Do you want
Florida.
do you want a brief sentence description of the show or
Yeah, sure.
okay? Rudy to I gotta read my own writing. Yeah, Rudy Tabuti discovers a magic bowl of chalk that allows him to go into the name of the show, an alternate
Got it.
dimension where his drawings come to life.
I
No,
don't remember the name of this show, but I know what it is.
it would
It's
be
like
Truck Zone.
Chalk Zone it is. All right. Set in the fictional town of
nice.
Plainsville, Wisconsin. All right. Any discussion we want to have on the show, or do we want to move on?
Was it based on Plainfield, where fucking nice serial killer came from?
I mean,
I'm
it's
guessing
Wisconsin.
not.
It's Wisconsin, so there's probably a good chance that a serial killer did come from there. So
Yeah.
I remembered it a little bit. Like I didn't think it was a terrible show. Don't remember too much with it. It'd be cool to be able to have your drawings come to life.
I remember
Maybe.
none of it. Like a lot of these, I'm like I had never even heard of. In fact, I assume there's going to be several of them that we're going to be like, what? Like that was a thing? All right. Next show then. This one might get a little more. It was 34 episodes, 3 years, animated show as well, ran from 95 to 98 in the fictional town of Cedar Knoll, Wisconsin, and was a fictionalized retelling of a certain comedian's childhood.
Life with Louie.
Oh, there we go.
Good one. Good one.
Justin's 2-0 so far.
Good
Life
job,
with Louie.
Justin.
It's a teamwork here. We're two in it.
I didn't realize that came out in 95. Like I thought that was earlier. So apparently in high school I was watching a lot of animated shows still, but I watched that show. I remember liking it. I do think
Louis Anderson, isn't he from? I thought he was from Minnesota.
which is the weird part about it.
Yeah.
So he
knows Wisconsin's better.
he was from a part of Minnesota, and then when they were like, "Oh, let's make an animated show about your childhood growing up, we'll set it in Wisconsin." You know, the bitter rival of the state you grew up in.
Yeah. That's odd.
Shots fired.
I remember that show being kind of funny, like and enjoyable, like because like Louis Anderson didn't try to like kid up his voice, like he did like his own voice still, like as a kid, like it was amusing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember liking it.
All right, this one only ran for 13 episodes, and I'm not even sure all 13 episodes got on TV. So one season was a live action show. It was in 2003. Was in the fictional town of Waterford Falls because
All right.
it was almost a real town if they had just left Falls off, but
It's just north of Waterford.
just north.
That's real small, unincorporated.
Do you want to know the actors in it, or should I just do the description?
Just description.
Okay. Newspaper columnist becomes a TV commentator and moves to middle of America to get in touch with the people.
This is animated?
No, this is live action.
Okay.
Newspaper columnist.
Yes.
I don't know.
What was that show about? There's so many people in a pizza place.
No,
Two
no,
guys, a girl, and a pizza
no,
place?
not that one.
That's
Norm Macdonald was the star. It also had Fred Willard and Garrett Dillahunt in it.
Oh man! And it only made it 13 episodes.
Yeah, and again, not entirely sure because I didn't write that down. If all 13 episodes actually aired.
I'm just gonna take a stab because I didn't even know what the show's about, but it sounds right to me in the moment. Caroline in the city,
No.
in the small town. It's a spinoff. Caroline in the small town
Yeah.
of Waterford Falls.
Caroline's ex-husband.
No, this would be A Minute with Stan Hooper.
A Minute with Stan Hooper.
Yes.
He
All
was.
right.
Oh, it's about a dude who's the journalist.
Yeah, Stan Hooper was the
Okay.
journalist.
Okay.
It was Norm Macdonald. It was
Okay.
it was funny, it was ridiculous. I do remember watching it and really liking it, but I love Norm Macdonald.
Who doesn't?
But I also get that there's a lot of people who didn't necessarily get Norm Macdonald's humor or appreciate it the way that, they should have, because he had a very dry, weird sense of humor. But all right. Well, this one I really am gonna assume that none of you are gonna get this one. It ran for 59 episodes. It was syndicated, so it didn't really have a season per se. Live action, ran from 90 to 91 in the fictional town of Derby. Was produced by Second City, the Chicago improv troupe. And it was about a group of people who decided to do their own talk show out of their garage.
Sounds like Wayne's World.
It would have been in the era of Wayne's World, yes.
I don't know.
It was called My Talk Show.
Okay.
All
And
right.
because the Second City people did it, and the Second City, are you either of you aware of Second City?
hmm
Yeah.
Okay. Some of the best Saturday Night Live people ever have come out of Second City. I was trying to find that show because I figured like even like bad 90, early 90s, like the humor could still be pretty funny, but I can't find anything other than just people talking about like, yep, it existed.
Hmm.
It
So
was a
like
real thing.
it was a real thing. It was apparently kind of popular enough to run for 59 episodes, but
Damn.
Hmm.
All right then. So this one ran for 89 episodes, 4 seasons, was live action from 92 to 96. Um, was set in Rome, Wisconsin, but not either of the actual two Rome, Wisconsins that there are.
All right.
It was very popular at the time. Was somewhat racy for being on prime time. It's kind of a soap opera show. Won 14 Emmys. It was about a sheriff who was like in the town of Rome, but it was like I said, not either of the. There are two Rome, Wisconsins, and they didn't set in either one of them. Had Tom Skerritt, Lauren Holly, Costas Mandylor, Holly Marie Combs, Don Cheadle in one of his first acting roles, Marley Matlin, Ray Walston, the My
Wow.
Favorite Martian guy, Fivish Finkel. Like I said, it was kind of a primetime soap opera where, it was a kind of a crazy town where weird stuff always happened. The sheriff was the only one who seemed to have. I think the big thing was like the mayor went to prison every year or died every year, so like he was always in charge.
And
Uh,
it's about a sheriff.
Sheriff and his family, yeah.
Ooh, I had nothing. Tales of the Badge.
Tales of the Badge.
The hell.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
All
Uh,
right.
I don't know.
Okay, picket fences.
All right.
If you say so.
Well, like I said, I figured that some of these might be a little because 92 to 96 is definitely, before either one of you were watching that kind of show on TV.
Yeah.
hmm
All right, this one I think is going to be really easy for you to get. 200 episodes, 8 years, live action, ran from 99 to 06, was in the fictional town of Point Place.
Mm.
Now we're talking.
I don't think I have to give you a description of this one. I think immediately you both already know
Yep.
what this one
Yep.
is.
Hello, Wisconsin.
Yeah, that 70s show.
That 70s show. Man, I love that show. That was maybe that subconsciously that show like sank in when I was finishing up college and moving. I moved to Florida for a couple years, but like I still watched it. Like subconsciously, I was like, that's why I want to move to Wisconsin. Like that, I can hang out with Hyde.
Oh,
Don't do
I mean,
that.
oh no, okay, that's not the right one. I meant to say
Whoa.
oh,
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace, Topher Grace. Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mila Kunis.
yeah. I mean, that's not a subject I really want to get too far into, but
It is ironic though that the Wisconsin Places episode happens to be coinciding with that.
yeah, um,
Awful.
yeah, that was not a planned thing. In fact, I almost dropped the whole episode because of it, but
Yeah,
I
it is what it
because
is.
we're gonna get to a couple other shows here in a little bit but I feel like that 70s show is like kind of like required Wisconsin viewing, right? Like you
Oh
cross the
yeah.
board, you move in, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Here's your welcome to Wisconsin kit. Here's a couple seasons of Happy Days, with Laverne Shirley, and well, that 70s show." Yeah,
Right. Uh-huh. Did you
So
guys ever get around to watching the 90s one on Netflix?
I did. I enjoyed it.
Me too.
I
Not
hope it gets a second season.
Yeah.
with the
Speaking
lack
of
of Netflix, I never got around to it.
speaking of that 90s show, well, you already brought it up. So that was the next one. It's got 10 episodes in one season. They've announced the second season, but there's no movement on it with the writer's strike of when or if that's actually happening. That 80s show, which
Oh,
was a spin-off of that 70s show, not in Wisconsin. They moved it entirely, and I had to really research as to how it was actually related to that 70s show. And I think who was the guy who's on that? Glenn Howerton, right? He was the one who was in that. I think he was supposed to be like Eric's like cousin or like second cousin. Like it was like barely like they barely made a mention of it once just to be like it's a spinoff, but like yeah, it was you can't find that one anywhere either, and I think with good reason. It
yeah.
was not good. All right. This one is going to be interesting. It's ran for 2,500 plus episodes.
Holy shit.
Uh,
It's been on the air since it's live action. It's been on the air since 1973. It's set in the fictional town of Genoa City. Again, not the real Genoa City. Live action soap opera. So what do we got here?
so Young and the Restless.
Whoa, I
Good one.
was, did not know you would actually get that one because
Justin's a closet soap fan.
Yep, that's it. With
I
my mom watching Days of Our Lives and Young and the Restless and MASH.
until
Oh,
Jeremy, you posted that thing on Facebook a couple weeks ago or a month or so ago when the thing that inspired this whole episode.
hmm.
I didn't know Young and the Restless was set in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I
That's
mean,
I
interesting.
did.
I also don't know why they didn't just call it Lake Geneva instead of Genoa City, because that's apparently where it's supposed to be. Like Lake, because all the fancy
Yeah.
rich people live in Lake Geneva, but
Not Genoa City.
Oh, that's a dog.
Yes.
Sorry, Genoa City.
yeah.
You have a nice park.
This one I found at the last minute as I was writing it up. I doubt either one of you are going to get it. Ran for 9 episodes, one season, live action from 1978 in the fictional town of Eastfield. Joe Namath was a basketball coach.
What?
Because
That's weird.
yeah, when you hire Joe Namath to be the actor in your show, well, first off, that should tell you something. Secondly, basketball? Really? Like,
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh man.
Good choice, guys.
Yeah.
any,
Eastfield.
Broadway Joe plays basketball.
oddly enough, not the name of the show. Waverly Wonders. Waverly Wonders was the show I was looking for.
Hmm.
All right.
Wow.
Okay. And
It's a precursor to the Wizards of Waverly Place.
possibly. All right. This one again, we're now sitting in territory that I'm guessing that none of us would know. We're looking at a soap opera from 1954 to 1996 and 1962 in the fictional town of New Hope. Was a radio soap opera before. It was a radio soap opera starting in 1948.
Jeez.
It ran for quite a while. I mean, it ran for 8 years on TV.
Hmm.
I'm quite, seeing, going to test
Ooh,
your Wisconsin TV knowledge, what kind of history they taught you
this-
in class.
not a lot.
Got this.
It was a soap opera called The Brighter Day.
You
All
didn't
right.
even let us guess. That was gonna be my guess.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
All right, this one, maybe you will get. I don't know. All right, it ran for 10
Come on,
episodes.
Jeremy. We got this.
10 episodes, one season. It was a live action show in 2016 in the fictional town of Stillwater, Wisconsin. It was a summer camp horror series set in the 80s.
What? That sounds awesome.
It does, and I couldn't find it anywhere.
Um, when did you say it came out?
2016.
2016. That was a rough year for me. I don't remember much about what was happening on TV or in reality.
But wasn't
I'll
2016, wasn't that before Stranger Things?
it was like right at the same time. I think it was before. I don't know if they came out at the end of 2016 or the start of 2017. But
Yeah, because when I saw the description, I'm like, I feel like this show must have been predated some of the like the the Stranger Things and a couple other things that kind of became popular by setting a show back in the 80s, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Stranger Things was 7/15/2016.
oh, okay. So they came out around the same time then. All right.
We'll go with
Any,
I'm going with Camp Nowhere.
Uh,
no, that was the first Jessica Alba movie, right? Christopher Lloyd.
no, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Christopher
yeah,
Lloyd.
okay, yeah, yeah. That was. No, I was looking for Dead of Summer. Dead of Summer. Here's a show that will interest you until I tell you about it. It was 13 episodes, one season, live action from 87 to 88, set in the fictional Bass Women's Prison.
Okay,
It was a sitcom set in a women's prison.
a sitcom set in a prison.
In a
Yes,
women's prison in the late 80s.
yes. I think like there was a couple of famous women who were in it. Like I think CCH Pounder was one of them. Like yeah, it said like the description of the show was like, how would you make a sitcom out of that? Because like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Where's the humor?
right. I mean, but they found a way to make Hogan's Heroes work. So why not? Let's give it a shot with women's prison. You know,
Yeah,
let's
what kind of hijinks can they get into today?
I don't know. But anyway, does anyone want to take a guess? Think simple here.
Simple.
It was a sitcom set in about women's prison.
Hmm.
Broads behind bars.
Nice, nice.
You're not far off.
Jailbait.
Oh, you got further off. The show is literally called Women in Prison.
Ah,
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 creative.
Yeah. All right. This one was 52 episodes, three seasons.
52 seasons.
52. Well, I mean, now we're talking about Young and Restless again. 52 episodes, three seasons. It was animated, run from 64 to 67 in the fictional town of Foggy Bog. It was made by the people who did Rocky and Bullwinkle. In fact, I think it was somewhat involved with the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. It was about a frog that lived in Foggy Bog.
The Foggy
Okay.
Bog Frog. Oh God, I don't know.
Okay, I was looking for Hoppity Hopper. Hoppity
Oh
Hopper was
my
the name.
God.
Hoppity Hopper.
Okay. All right, then. For the last of the fictional towns, 52 episodes. It was an animated show. It was an anime. It was actually from Japan, set in the fictional town of Brailsford Junction. The show, a show about the problems of having a raccoon as a pet. It was actually blamed for all of the raccoons currently living in Japan because raccoons are not native to Japan, but now they have a raccoon problem countrywide, and they're blaming this show from the year that I did not write it down, sometime in the 70s,
Hmm.
70s, early 80s.
Okay.
And it's about something with raccoons.
It's about raccoons. It's an anime show about a raccoon.
I'll say Super Tanuki Man.
Ah, bandit burritos.
Well, I mean, you were on the right track there, but it was called Rascal the Raccoon.
Mm,
Mm. Jeremy, you were on the right track.
I think you're much closer.
All right, so that's all I have for the fictional ones. Now, some of these shows are I put them on the list because as I was going through the various different articles that I was reading in the Wikipedia articles, they kept saying, "Oh, this is from here." But I'll give you an example. I'll give you the first one that I don't necessarily think should count, but it kept appearing on the list. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which ran for 7 years and 136 episodes, from 2013 to 2020, had several episodes set in Milwaukee, but not obviously the whole thing.
Did they actually say Milwaukee in the show?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Like they had part of like the first season was in Milwaukee. Like there was just so there's a couple shows on the live action here where like some episodes were in Wisconsin, but
Sure.
not. So I didn't know how to. So that's just an example. But we'll go with one of the most interesting. Oh no, that's the next one. We'll go back to the first one here. 1956. Ran for 8 episodes. Set in Madison. Was part of the Mickey Mouse Club, where Annette Funicello and somebody named Sammy Ogg learned about farming.
Oh my God.
What?
They learned about farming.
In
And
Madison?
it only lasts 6 episodes?
8 episodes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better. I don't know. You guess, Justin.
I was going to say Mary Moo Cow.
Oh no, Adventures in Dairyland. Adventures
Mm.
in Dairyland.
We're not
Okay.
doing so good, Jeremy. We're getting a lot more wrong than we're getting right here.
This is for me, this is one of the strangest, maybe not the strangest show on the list, but one of the strangest setups for a show, which is probably why it only ran for 18 episodes in one year. It was a live action show from '07 to '08. It was on CW about a Muslim teen who gets adopted or foreign exchange student with a Christian family. Wikipedia said it was Chippewa Falls, but Milwaukee Journey Sentinel said it was Madera,
Hmm.
which would have made it fictional. So it was very, I had multiple articles saying Chippewa Falls, and then a couple saying it was not. So anyway,
Jeremy, do you know this? You look like you got
No,
an
I
answer.
don't. I do have an answer, but I don't know if I should say it. My guess for this, I think it was called The Scary Switch. But who is it scary for? I'm not saying. I don't know who it's scary for.
I mean, probably the Muslim teen living in the middle America, Wisconsin. I mean,
I would guess it's probably terrifying.
that would be
The
terrifying.
culture shock.
Culture shock alone. Any guesses,
Justin?
You want to? Okay, all right. We're gonna go with Aliens in America.
Oh, okay.
But that just seems like such, like what meeting? Like the Joe Namath one is weird, but you're like, we gotta get Joe Namath on TV, and we're gonna, like we have the show about a basketball coach. All right, cool. Let's make him the. But this one, you're like, I know. Let's make a sitcom about a Muslim teen living with some Christians in Wisconsin.
That's
Is it going to be like a CW, like hour-long drama, like a teen-centered drama? Like, we'll deal with the issues? No. 30-minute sitcom.
30-minute sitcom. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
done. Wrap. Put it on the air. This is another one that the articles disagreed with them quite handily disagreed with them each other. 17 episodes, one season, live action, 1991. The Journal Sentinel said it was set in the Dells. Wikipedia said it was set in Kenosha. So
Two,
places.
yeah, vastly
Very
different
different
areas.
a TV reporter quits his job after his wife dies to reconnect with his kids. Robert Urich was in it, Jeffrey Tambor, Carol Kane, and Johnny Galecki in an early TV role for Johnny Galecki. Any guesses as to? So apparently there's also a lot of Wisconsin-based shows where they're like, this guy quit his job to go do this other thing and become this other thing.
The Rick Moranis story.
The Rick Moranis story.
I don't think he had quit his job as being an actor in 1991, though.
Wow. Quit his job as a newspaper?
Yeah, quit his. He was a TV reporter. I think he did get a job as a newspaper reporter, but I didn't write that.
I'm gonna call it The Scoop.
Okay.
The Scoop. Well, it's not the show that I was actually thinking of, but I just say like the Midwest Hero.
American Dreamer. American Dreamer.
Okay.
Midwest Hero. Sounds like a good sandwich.
Yeah.
All right, 8 episodes, one season. It was live action, 95, set in Madison. Based on the very popular radio show Car Talk, with George Wendt in it, where him and his brother hosted a popular radio show. Like the Car Talk was a really popular NPR show for a long time. Might still be. I just haven't listened to NPR in years. Ever since I discovered podcasts, kind of gave up on NPR. But like I said, George Wendt was in it. So he went from Cheers to this.
And it's based on the popular show Car Talk.
Yes.
I'm going to just go with Car Talk.
George Wendt was in it. Hint, hint. George Wendt was in it.
Don't know how that
Car
happens.
talk. Car talk with George
talk.
Wendt. Wendt.
Okay.
George Wendt presents Car Talk, the adaptation.
Wentz
You-
Wheels.
You went too far, but you were headed in the right direction. It was just called the George Wendt Show.
Ah, okay.
All right, and then I mean, I feel like I've already kind of given the next couple away.
Good, we need
200,
some easy victories.
255 episodes, 11 years, live action, 74 to 84, set in Milwaukee. The Fonz, Richie Cunningham,
Yeah.
required Wisconsin viewing.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Happy days.
Happy days. All right. I know that, I mean, that show is one of the more popular shows that's probably ever been on TV. It gave us the phrase jumping the shark. Like, we don't have that phrase without Happy Days. I don't know if a lot of people know that. I mean, both of you know that, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Of
Yeah.
course, give us some credit.
I was giving you credit, but I just wanted to make sure.
You
So
know
there-
that, don't you?
For our listeners, there was an episode where Fonzie jumped a shark. He was out water skiing. In Lake Michigan, I guess. Or were they on vacation? I don't know. Anyway, he water skied and jumped over a shark. And most people say like that's the point where like Happy Days like went from being a great show to kind of downhill, which is why we have that phrase. I can't honestly say I've watched a lot of Happy Days. I know I've watched it. But I mean, we have so much important stuff that came out of that show. I mean, Ron Howard,
Mhm.
Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler. I mean, and then the sheer amount of spinoffs, which leads me to the next one. 178 episodes, 8 years, live action, 76 to 83, also set in Milwaukee, about two women working at a beer factory and had a crazy neighbor.
Justin, you could take this one.
I'm trying to think of the name of it now. Is it
Oh.
Laverne and Shirley?
It is Laverne and Shirley.
I'm like, that's their names, but is that the actual name of the show?
Yes. To think about, like, Happy Days gave us Ron Howard, which is he's one of the biggest directors of all time. And then Laverne and Shirley gave us, oh wow.
Penny Marshall.
Yes, Penny Marshall. Wow, I can't believe I completely blanked on her name, but Penny Marshall, who is one of the better directors. I mean, she's directed some pretty monster movies. I mean, Big, A League of Their Own,
Mm-hmm.
So, two people who went
So
on to
can
become
we
more
blame
famous.
both of those two for Tom Hanks?
Yes.
Okay.
But is Tom Hanks a problem?
No.
I was gonna say, because if you're blaming them, it sounds like you're blaming them for Tom Hanks.
How dare you?
There you give us Tom Hanks. He's an American treasure.
One of the greatest actors of all time. How dare you? But yeah, it's so weird that like two of the biggest things to come out of the two big shows in Milwaukee were big time directors.
Yeah.
Now, other than the Bronze Fonts, like, and them being set in Milwaukee, did they film anything in Wisconsin that you're aware of?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I don't know how I would know this information.
I don't know. I just figured that maybe there was like some sort of like Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Joni Loves Chachi, Mork and Mindy, like, class in high school.
I mean,
No.
I took a pop culture class, but it was general pop culture. Not
I took
Well,
a
you could-
Wisconsin history class that I worked in Old World, Wisconsin for.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I took a Tennessee history class in like middle school because that's where I went to, middle school.
Middle school.
That would have been really weird. I'd been living in Atlanta, and they're like, "You want to take Tennessee history? Sure." What? But by the time I got to high school, like they didn't do like a Georgia history class or like an Atlanta history class. I'm kind of jealous that you had a pop culture class in high school.
It was pretty awesome. We basically just watched movies.
Who
That would've
taught
been-
that class?
Phillips.
That
Oh,
would have been awesome.
I don't think they were there when I was there.
Yeah, it was cool.
Wow.
And we got to go on field trips too.
To the movies?
Yeah. We went to like one of those movie theaters that was like the big dome thing.
IMAX.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the field trip that my German class took us on a field trip to see Schindler's List. That was the movie I got to go see.
Oh
For
God.
yeah,
That's
so we're gonna
downer.
go show you this massively depressing, really well made, but massively depressing movie.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But not a lot we want to talk about those two shows, even though we've
Well,
called them required Wisconsin viewing.
I don't know. I mean, they're
As we didn't view them often enough to know much about them.
I used to watch them a lot when they were on Nick at Night when I was a kid, and things were starting to wrap up. I remember seeing a lot of Happy Days on Nick at Night.
I remember
But
more Three's Company, but that's not Wisconsin related. On Nick at Night.
For
uh,
for Labor Day, whatever the channel that I leave the TV on for the bird when we leave the house, because birds get crazy if you don't like leave noise.
hmm
So what is Antenna TV, I think, did a Three's Company marathon. And like I was sitting here, I turned the TV on and I was trying to finish up something I was working on. I just wanted noise. And they started, and I think they ran like every episode of Three's Company like in order, because like they definitely started the marathon with the pilot, which was weird. One
I
of these
wonder.
days, one of these days we should talk about 70s TV and like the idea that bras were optional.
hmm
I mean, they still are today.
But all right. Anyway, back to Wisconsin. Enough of this California
Yeah,
talk with John
the more the
Ritter.
merrier. I mean, whatever, the less the merrier.
All right. All right. This one was in Stevens Point. It was 2013 to 2017, 80 episodes, 4 years. Live action. It was a Disney show,
Hmm.
so I don't really know a lot about it. Had Dove Cameron as one of the Liv or Maddie, or maybe both. I don't know. I don't know much about it, and I'm not sure that I should.
Okay. Probably.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a description that we can go over?
Something I think. All right, I had to read about it, so don't come after me. Don't send Chris Hansen after me because I wasn't. I've never watched an episode.
Okay.
Um, Something about like one of the either Liv or Maddie is an actress who like stops or like her show gets canceled, so she moves back to Wisconsin to like just be a normal person, but like she's still kind of famous. I think basketball was involved somehow, but
I'll just say the sticks.
no, I believe I actually said the name of the show already.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
Oh,
So
okay.
so you wanna take a guess, Justin?
I don't know.
Oh, Liv and Maddie.
Oh,
Oh, I thought it was like a spin-off of Liv and Maddie.
No, apparently it was
Okay.
actually Liv and Maddie. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't I wasn't quite sure if either one of you would know about it either because
No, I never heard of that show.
uh,
Ever.
okay. Oh yeah. This is probably the weirdest of all of the setups for a show. 9 episodes, one season, live action, 1988, set in Racine. A wacky sitcom about a wife leaving her husband and he because she like took a self-help class and she just left. And he now has to raise his daughter on his own. Bryan Cranston starred as the wacky uncle.
what?
What?
Yeah, because again, when I think sitcom, that's what I guess at least this one wasn't the wife dying, but
Right.
still.
When was this?
1988.
Oh,
Oh God.
So Bryan Cranston went from this show to Seinfeld.
And it's the wife leaves for the self-help class.
So yeah, so she watched a self-help video or took a class or I don't know. She just was like, "I'm out," and left. And like
Um,
now the father had to raise the daughter and all sorts of wacky hijinks ensue.
I'll self-help me.
I'll say Midwest Hero again.
Self-help me probably a better title than Raising Miranda.
Uh,
I was thinking Raising Hope, but that
Okay.
is not
good show.
the Midwest.
Stevens Point
Oh,
apparently very popular
Weird.
because this show also set in Stevens Point ran from 91 to 98. 160 episodes, 7 seasons. Honestly, didn't know it was set in Wisconsin when I used to watch it. It was part of the TGIF, lineup with Sabrina and all them. It was
Okay.
about the blended families with Patrick something or other, was it? Not Patrick Warburton. Patrick Duffy. Patrick Duffy and Suzanne Summers were the husband and wife who got together and brought their kids together.
Like a cheaper by the dozen situation?
Very, very similar concepts. Very popular show.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know what this is.
As a 90s
The hell is it?
aficionado.
Step by step.
There we go. I
That's
knew
it.
you. This was one of the few that I
Yeah.
figured you guys would get for certain.
Is that the
Because
one where it started with them riding the roller coaster in the opening scene?
yes,
Got it.
Is that supposed to be
Which is-
Bay Beach?
I don't know because like I remember this starting with the song and like they're all like at the amusement park like and they're riding the roller coaster.
Is that the guy
And
who shoots the teddy bear with the bow too in the beginning?
I think so. I don't know, but like it was
Cody
like
T-Bones or whatever his name is?
step.
was that Sasha something or other? Sasha like the
Baron
guy who
Cohen?
no, not Sasha Baron Cohen. Like
Oh,
he
you didn't
he
watch
he was
this.
in a bunch of the kickboxer movies. Like he was not a good actor, but he was funny on the show because he was supposed to be stupid. That worked in his favor. But I honestly, I watched a lot of that show. I don't think I ever knew it was set in Wisconsin.
Yeah, what the hell? This is nowhere in Wisconsin. That's
Right.
close to Six Flags. They might
But-
have been.
But the
On
thing is, like,
vacation in Gurney.
but isn't because the thing that threw me off was like I'm pretty sure like the roller coaster or whatever was like next to like the beach.
It kind of looks like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're like riding a water ride.
Yeah, like it and I don't remember them ever like I'm trying to remember like winter episodes or like, like I mean, I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched Step by Step, but it was like I mean, I think I came across that it was a Wisconsin show like a couple years ago, but when I was doing this, I'm like, that's right. This show was somehow set in
Stevens
like it,
Point.
yeah, Stevens, which is weird that there have been two shows set. All right,
I think
You
it's
two-
actually Port Washington.
oh, Port Washington.
Yeah,
Did I write that down wrong?
they had a little sign in the opening
Oh,
credits.
okay. Port Washington. Well, isn't Stevens Point and Port Washington next to each other?
Well, they're both like far up there, but I think
Oh.
they're like different
Oh.
sides.
That's
Okay.
that's the only reference to Wisconsin is a sign at the
Because
beginning.
Port Washington's kind of like a richer neighborhood part of Milwaukee, right? Or like above Milwaukee, like a more of
Yeah.
an affluent neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Stevens Point is over like if you're heading like toward Madison,
Oh,
like,
okay.
over like near the cross, kind of on that direction.
All right. Well, I guess you shouldn't trust everything that I say then. So, but even so, like I was like, what? That doesn't okay. I mean, they definitely don't make it a point to talk about being in Wisconsin a lot in that show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This one was I don't know how they expected it to last very long. So it only lasted for 11 episodes. 1 year. It was live action. It was in 95, set in Milwaukee. Corbin Burnson plays an egotistical baseball player named Roger Dorn. I mean, Brett Sooner, sidelined by the strike of 94, so he becomes a sports reporter.
Sounds like Major League.
Yeah, exactly, which is why I made the Roger. But yeah, so he's Brett Sooner, Richard Kind, Stephen Tobolowsky, and John O'Hurley are in it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So kind of an all-star cast, but like, wouldn't you think like as soon as the strike is over, he would go back to being a baseball player?
Right.
Like
You would
anyway,
think.
so what are we gonna call this show? What are we gonna call it?
Striking
guess-
out.
Oh, Major League Blues.
Whole new ball game. Whole new ball game.
Okay.
All
There's
right.
a whole new ball game.
This one might not be
Good.
no, I mean I think I'm not sure if you watched it, but I know one of our tangential members of the group have. So I'm not sure it counts though, because it's another one of those Agents of Shield type. It ran for 327 years, 327 episodes, 15 seasons. It was live action from '05 to 20. Was set
Oh,
in various places in Wisconsin. It was about some brothers that were doing.
Is that Supernatural?
Yeah, there we go. Supernatural.
ah,
I'd say I know they've had different, like, been in different Wisconsin towns.
Yeah, they were apparently that again. I was like, I don't know if it counts, but
I
tell me
watched
they
that
did a
show.
Bray Road thing.
they probably did at least one
I,
episode on Bray Road, I would assume.
I don't remember anything with Bray Road.
Mm.
Did you watch it or was that Tony?
Both more
Oh,
so.
okay.
I think I watched it longer than he did.
Oh, okay. So I seem to remember him always talking about it, but I didn't. But all right, this one was just recent. It was in 2022. It was a 1 year show. Like I'm not sure they planned on doing more than one season. It was on Netflix, set in Milwaukee. It was about a serial killer.
Dahmer?
Oh, there we go.
Do you watch that?
No, I didn't.
No, me neither.
I
Yeah.
didn't. As like I don't have. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're romanticizing serial killers." So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just like I've learned enough about Dahmer to not need to watch a TV show about him. Like
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
all right. This one only lasted for 1 year. It was Hulu's first scripted TV show. It was in
Ooh.
2012, set mostly in Madison, but all around Wisconsin. It was a mockumentary series about a Senate campaign.
Oh shit. I remember seeing this, but what was it called?
Come on, Jeremy. You want me to stall for
Oh,
you?
oh, come on.
All right,
I
vamp a
can
little bit.
picture the trailer. Go,
Oh
I don't
man,
know. I don't know.
I'm not. I'm not sure what.
Battleground.
Mm,
Battleground. That's what I was looking for.
yeah.
The campaign?
Oh, okay.
Campaign.
The
Sounds like a
campaign.
movie.
Was that one? Was the campaign set in Wisconsin?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't do movies. Movies will do it if this goes over well and we want to. I'll try to do movies, but that one
I mean,
seemed
even
to.
if it doesn't go over well and it's something we want to do, we'll do it.
That's true. It's never stopped us before. Okay, this one is a reality show that was set entirely in Wisconsin in La Crosse. It was inspired by Glee, about an adult community show. It was 8 episodes, 1 year in 2013.
It was inspired by Glee.
Yeah, it was about an adult community show in La Crosse. I think it was also inspired by Pitch Perfect,
Oh God.
but
All
between the
right.
two,
Bars and Tones or something.
Ooh,
Hmm?
let's go with songs and salutes.
Hmm.
off pitch. Off pitch is what I was
Hmm.
looking for.
Off pitch.
All right. And then the last one, 10 episodes, 1 year, live action, 2016 to 2017, set in Milwaukee, but kind of also around the country, but mainly Milwaukee, was a sci-fi show where corporations have taken over the government due to climate change for some reason. The premise seemed really strange. Like, because of climate change, the government failed and Walmart bought everything. I don't know. But the corporate Ben Affleck and Matt Damon produced it, but they were not in it. It was apparently not very good. It only lasted for the 1 year. Although sci-fi does have a habit of canceling things really quickly, so maybe it was great.
I got nothing here.
Um,
It was sci-fi about climate problems.
It was about corporations
Oh God, even
taking
worse.
over because of climate change, but corporations were
We're gonna go with
taking
corporate greed.
hmm, I'll just say welcome to Money Town.
incorporated.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Good one.
all right. I think that was everything. It was quite a lot of.
We came up, if that was the last of the shows,
Yes.
we had 19 incorrect and 10 correct.
Okay. All right.
So about, what would that be? 30% almost?
That's better than I thought.
I do think that some of the names that you guys came up with were better than what they named them. But I think it's very weird, and I didn't do any research in knowing whether or not like how many TV shows, because I feel like most TV shows are like set in New York or California,
hmm
you know. So I
Not a
don't
lot of
know.
Midwestern stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how many are set, you know, anywhere else. I mean, there's just, Vegas happens a lot, I think, but I think New York, Miami, LA, just seems to get a lot of attention. So it's kind of nice that
Texas.
I don't know. I mean, I know some. I mean, obviously Dallas, but so it's kind of nice that you know. I guess when they think Middle America, they're like, oh, let's Wisconsin, So we've gotten a handful of shows, but
More than I would have thought.
Yeah.
yeah, that was one thing that I did discover is that I mean, from the early days of TV, going back to 1954, Wisconsin was getting representation on the tube.
hmm
So, pretty good, pretty good. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that of all the shows that were on that 70 show is probably my favorite of all of the Wisconsin-based TV shows, followed by Step by Step. I mean, a lot of one season shows, two season shows,
hmm
but
Yeah.
I think I think what I do remember of Happy Days I enjoyed. I don't think I watched as much Laverne and Shirley as I did Happy Days.
I don't think I really watched a lot of either of those two shows.
Well,
Yeah.
part of me thinks I watched a lot of Happy Days back when I was a kid because, we only had four channels.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Five or six if you were lucky. It was a good day. Maybe you got a channel from the next town over.
You'd
But
have
I
to
mean,
rotate the antenna.
well, because as I was growing up, like you had ABC, NBC, CBS, ABC, NBC, CBS, those three. And then Fox in the late 80s became a thing. And Fox almost died. Had it not been for The Simpsons, Fox would have been dead. Like Fox owes its entire existence to The Simpsons, followed very closely by Married with Children. But like The Simpsons literally saved Fox from dying in an early stage. I mean, Fox used to do a lot of crazy stuff like Herman's Head and some pretty crazy shows. Maybe one day we'll do an episode just on like the early days of Fox. They did a Chris Elliott show where like I think he died in every episode. Like that was like the whole
All
like
right.
it was like
Groundhog's Day.
no
Happy
like
Happy Death Day.
no it was so weird. I really liked it, but I mean Chris Elliott has always been weird, but I enjoyable.
Hmm.
What was that show called? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, I feel like there was probably a time in my life where I watched a lot more Happy Days and, that kind of stuff because it was the only thing on. Like I used to watch Gilligan's Island. I mean, I would still watch Gilligan's Island now, but it was, because you had the three major networks, then the fourth that showed up towards the end of, the 80s. And then you had like two or three just local networks that only showed like whatever random program they could afford, which would have been, old 60s, 70s sitcoms and, you know,
Yeah.
syndicated, whatever syndicated shows were going around at the time. I mean, that would
hmm
have been in the late 80s, early 90s, that would have been Hercules and Xena and Relic Hunter, that kind of stuff. So that's what, like like that weird talk show that we talked about, the My Talk Show. Like that's the kind of show that would show up on those networks. Like every so often you'd find like a new show that like for whatever reason the networks ignored it, but they had enough money to get it out, so they would just syndicate it.
Yeah, I remember I think I had 9 channels before cable. And I remember watching a lot of reruns of Three Stooges.
Yeah. Jeremy,
Because
have you ever
we
lived a
didn't
life
we
without
didn't have
cable?
a lot of channels.
No, I don't think so. I think I've always had cable.
I didn't have cable until 96. So, there was
Yeah.
and that probably helped also watching a lot of stuff. because like you just had to watch whatever you could find, like
Hmm.
it's Saturday afternoon. We've got, and if it was raining, that really maybe cut down what you could pick up that day. Like it was a nice, clear day. Like when we moved to Atlanta, it was nice because TBS was a local network then. Like it wasn't just a cable channel because Ted Turner was like, I love Atlanta. TBS was sending it. So like you could at least watch like whatever was on. It was kind of like cheating a little bit because you got kind of like a cable channel.
Hmm.
But,
Hmm.
but yeah. So yeah, I don't even remember how many channels we actually had, but if it was more than nine, I would have been shocked. Maybe in Atlanta we had more than nine just because it's such a major city.
Because I
But
was trying to think of them as you were talking. We had 4, 6, 10, 12, 18, 24, 36, 41 if you aim the antenna right, and 58. Because
what
41 is where I'd watch the Stooges.
Well, this is probably something that Jeremy never had to do. Back in the day, some of the TVs had little dials where like you would like twist to like, catch, like some channels would come in, but like you had to like adjust the vertical and the horizontal to like get the channel to like come in right. Like you had your antenna up on the roof, like that didn't move, so
Ours
but
swiveled. We had a big dial that you'd have to turn, and it would actually like swivel the antenna.
I have one of those boxes here in my house currently because the guy who I bought it from had it. And I've just never unhooked it because I see no reason to. But I've never actually gone out to check to see if it moves if I move the dial.
Yeah, ours would sway it so you could aim it to
But
different areas.
but this man set up a big old TV on my roof, and it's big enough, and I'm close enough to Chicago that I get Milwaukee and Chicago channels. So I
Nice.
get a lot of just like if my internet goes down, I there's a lot of channels that I can still watch. It's annoying because like you got to flip through, but still. But that is hopefully those of you who don't live in Wisconsin enjoyed our trip through the history of TV in Wisconsin. If you want us to do your state, tell us. We won't, but tell us.
Yeah, what's the most popular show from your state? Set
Yeah,
in
what
your state.
I've I've lived in almost as many states as you two have been to. I've lived in nine, and you guys have only been to like 14. So,
Sounds like you have a problem or a
well,
criminal record.
A
I mean, I've
criminal
told you that my name is Nicholas, and you just believe me. But
That's true.
all right. Anyway, on to our favorite segment. What have we been watching?
Oh, yeah. What have we been watching?
Yeah,
Just to
football.
stretch this episode out that much longer.
The Green Bay Packers, also the greatest franchise set in
All right.
Wisconsin.
Uh-huh.
All right. I finished Twisted Metal today.
Okay.
I only think I got through the first 2 episodes, and then I don't know what happened.
It's enjoyable. It's a lot of
I
fun.
I seen when he met Sweet Tooth, and then I just kind of stopped.
I think
Did
I'll
you not
stick with the
enjoy it or
game.
did
I did
did
enjoy it.
oh, okay.
I
I
watch things and I just get sidetracked and I forget to go back to them.
I have never really played the game. Like I think I played one of them, but isn't Twisted Metal a PlayStation game?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes. So I don't know where I was somewhere that had a PlayStation. I played it a lot for one day, and it was a lot of fun. But Twisted Metal doesn't really have a story so much as just like you pick a car and drive around and destroy stuff.
Yeah.
Every character has a story. So if you beat the game with them, there is a story that you can watch
Oh, okay.
with each character. I don't know what like they get like a wish or they get something.
Okay. Yeah, because since you haven't watched it, we won't talk much about it because I have questions. So watch the rest of it so we can talk about it.
All right.
Um, I've also been burning through. I've now in the last couple of weeks watched 5 seasons of Top Chef. So I've kind of given up on watching all new stuff, and I'm now addicted to Top Chef.
All right.
So
All right. All right.
I saw Strays. That
is
was
that?
funny.
Oh, it is funny because I mean
Mhm.
I thought it looked awful, but I figured I'd watch it when
Well,
it comes on like Netflix.
yeah.
or whatever streaming it will be on.
Right.
It was funny. It was dumb
It
funny, but
it kind of reminded me of Sausage Party, where I was like, man, this looks funny. I want to go see it. And then I rented the Sausage Party, or when it came on Netflix, I watched it and I was like, wow, this is terrible.
oh,
All right, but Strays has got all right. Okay, you've given it a vote of confidence enough for me to watch it when I can stream it.
if you like the devil's lettuce, you might like Strays.
Oh, well then.
But I don't know. That's just a guess. I'm just guessing. It probably
Well-
would, it would enhance it. Probably. I'm guessing.
Oh, okay.
Just-
All right then.
Yeah.
I mean, although, I do enjoy for being a non-stoner and someone who's never indulged, I do seem to enjoy a lot of stoner comedy.
Hmm.
So,
That's fair.
I've been playing a lot of Starfield. That's the other thing on my list.
all right, give me a quick synopsis of Starfield.
Skyrim in space.
Like, is there a story or?
Yes. There's
Okay.
a lot of story. That's like you get sidetracked every minute with something else to do. It's just, have you ever played Skyrim?
No.
Okay. Have you ever played Fallout or like any Bethesda game? It's like
I've played
any
a little.
Bethesda game.
Okay, I've played a little Fallout, but not a lot.
Okay. It's like that. I would compare it to those or like Oblivion. Like it's like you're just well, it starts out you try to find these artifacts, but I mean there's a billion different plots everywhere. It's a lot because there's like different planets. There's 1,000 different galaxies and they each have their own different planets that you can visit. But there's like main planets with actual like towns on them, and that's where like the main missions happen. And then some of the other planets are just like for gathering resources and shit. But it's awesome. It's like they should be pretty happy with. They should be proud of what they put together. It's a massive game.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's on. I've been tempted, but I don't know. Like I don't know. I enjoy games that have a long story and a lot of side quests, like Arkham Asylum or
That's this.
Tomb Raider. Okay, maybe I'll give
I've
it a
been
shot.
playing
Then.
for 24 hours and I haven't scratched the surface yet.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, if you like doing a lot of fetching and side quests, that's definitely this kind of game. There's a lot of good the combat's pretty good too. I mean, it's at its core, it's a first person shooter with RPG elements.
I got nothing. I don't have anything else. Anybody else got anything they want to bring up before we call it a day?
No.
Nada.
Okay. All right then. If you're not from Wisconsin, stupid never walks alone.
Yeah.
All right.
Comic books have been around for almost a century, and in the last 2 decades, we've finally gotten to see many of these characters brought to life in movies and on TV. On the Moving Panels podcast, we discuss movies and TV shows based on, inspired by, and adapted from the world of comic books. Join me and my guests as we discuss both the good and the bad from Marvel, DC, and even some of the lesser-known comic book companies. Learn what is and isn't from the comics, as well as our nerdy review of the movie or show. New episodes drop every Monday, and you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. So join us for Moving Panels, and I'll see you on the other side of the page.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and listen to an 80s Flick Flashback podcast once in a while, you could miss it. Do you love movies of a certain age? Do you miss the days of VHS tapes, VCRs, and the video rental stores? Does the thought of another 80s movie being remade seem inconceivable? My name is Tim Williams. I'm the creator and host of the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. On each episode, I'm joined by guest co-host to discuss one of the many movies released in the 1980s. We share our first-time watch memories, our favorite scenes, and even learn some behind-the-scenes stories about the cast and crew along the way. New episodes are released every other Friday on your favorite podcasting platform. So make like a tree, get out of here, and go listen to an excellent episode of the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. The ad is over. Go home. Go.